careful and responsible management of something entrusted to one's care is called stewardship. Watch Stewardship with SNB on RSTV. Stewardship with SNB.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome once more to the program Stewardship. It's the 13th day of December 2018. But before we continue, as usual, let's have my take. The serial attempts to amend the Electoral Act in readiness for the 2019 general elections have turned out as the messiest such effort since the reform of democracy, the return of democracy rather, in 1999. The Electoral Act Amendment Bill, which the National Assembly Joint Committee on the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, have just worked for the record fourth time, is the enabling legal instrument for the conduct of the 2019 general elections. President Buhari had on 3 previous occasions vetoed the bill mainly on the grounds of National Assembly alteration of the sequence of the 2019 poll prepared by INEC. Critics have voiced their concern that the prolonged periods the bill stayed on the desk of Mr. President before the withholding of the assent was announced were delay tactics meant to ensure that the card reader, which has now been inculcated in the proposed amendment for the conduct of the general elections, will not be used. This, critics added, will make election rigging easier. For the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Yakubu Dogara, federal lawmakers will resist any attempt to continue to frustrate the enactment of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill. Indeed, the issue has elicited different opinions from different people. In today's edition of the program, we shall be considering 2019 general elections, the smart card reader, and the e-voting palaver. To dissect this topic, I have with me in the studio a grassroots politician and a spokesman of the People's Democratic Party in Rivers State, Mr. Darlington ORJI. Mr. Darlington ORJI, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
I also have with me in the studio the Deputy Director, Head of Department, Voter Education, Publicity, Gender and Civil Society Liaison, INEC Rivers State, Mr. EDWIN ENABOR, representing the Resident Electoral Commission, Commissioner in Rivers State. Mr. ENABOR, welcome to the program.
It's a pleasure to have you.
We'll now take a short break and return back to the studio. Please stay with us.
Stewardship with SNB. The careful and responsible management of something entrusted to one's care is called stewardship. Watch Stewardship with SNB on RSTV. Stewardship with SNB.
Following the 2015 elections, attempts to amend the 2010 Electoral Act has continually hit a brick wall. Despite several attempts, the proposed amendments have failed to see the light of day. The first major controversy that trailed the amendment bill was the section reordering the sequence of the general elections. Following its rejection by the President and the litigation that trailed its passage, the legislature had on June 7, 2018 passed the revised version of the bill, expunging the controversial clauses, including the one that reordered the general elections. Just before the National Assembly went on its long recess in July this year, the bill was sent to President Muhammadu Buhari for assent. The President, however, declined once again, as read by the Senate President upon resumption on the 9th of October 2018.
Pursuant to Section 58(4) of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, I hereby convey to the Senate my decision to decline presidential assent to the Electoral Amendment Bill 2018 recently passed by the National Assembly.
The Senate then mandated its Committee on INEC to revisit the bill and address the issues raised by President Buhari.
Said above are contained in the amendment bill attached to this report.
2 weeks later, the committee presented its report and the Senate adopted all the clauses of the bill.
And those in favor of the motion say aye.
In the House of Representatives, the lawmakers considered the specific areas in the bill which President Buhari had objected to. Speaking afterwards, the chairman of the committee was optimistic that the bill will meet the president's approval.
I want to confidently say that, yes, we have addressed all issues raised by Mr. President, all issues raised by INEC, and of course, all issues raised by members of the National Assembly. So I can comfortably say that we are expecting assent by Mr. President.
Some key clauses in the bill include the section seeking to legalize the use to allow elections and maintaining the tag of being one of the most rejected bills in the history of the Nigerian parliament. The bill is, however, not been rejected outrightly, as the president indicates that it might come to effect after the 2019 election.
Well, if you just joined us, you are on to the program Stewardship. And my guest once again are Darlington ORJI, the spokesman of the Rivers PDP. Mr. Darlington ORJI, once again, you're welcome to the program Stewardship.
Thank you very much.
And then on my right is the man representing the resident electoral commissioner in Rivers State, who is also in charge of voter education, INEC Rivers State, Mr. EDWIN ENABOR. Mr. ENABOR, welcome to the program.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Gentlemen, we'll listen to that report on the presidential refusal of presidential assent to the Electoral Act 2018. First, to ENABOR, the INEC man.
Well,
how prepared is INEC to conduct a free and fair election in 2019? Haven't suffered a setback, the Electoral Act amendment, haven't suffered a setback. How prepared is INEC?
Well, INEC is very prepared. This Electoral Act, which has just been, the bill which has just been turned down
by the president,
it's not really, it's just to make the electoral process a little bit better for everybody. It's not going to disturb the election we're having per se. The commission is prepared to do the elections, but it will have been done in a better and freer environment if the bill had passed through.
Now, how prepared would you say you are when the provisions of the Electoral Act gives opportunity for the card reader to be very operational, yes, and of course e-voting, meaning that wherever you are, you can be in your house, and if you have access to the internet, you can vote. You do not necessarily need to go out to
yes,
a polling booth.
Yes, right now
the president is rejecting assent to that bill, and you say INEC is prepared?
Yes, we are prepared to do the election. The election will still go on, whether or not the bill is...
One of the features of the that electoral bill is that the card reader, if it fails to recognize you, the incident form will no longer be in use. Even the president is still refusing assent to it.
Yes, the card reader is what we are going to use for this election. There's no incident form. So electoral bill or not.
If it rejects you, you automatically disenfranchised.
If it rejects you, and you go through all the processes, your name is not, your face is not in the register, then automatically it means you are not a registered voter.
Electoral system?
Well, that's why the bill is up. Don't forget, the commission worked with the National Assembly to amend the Electoral Act to enable us have an election that meets all international standards. But unfortunately, since the assent has been refused, we'll still continue, but we'll make sure that we still do it in a way that will be acceptable to all the parties concerned. Okay,
Mr. Namba, we'll come back to you. Let me turn the searchlight on the PDP spokesman in Rivers State. You heard the INEC rep saying that despite the fact that the president turned down the assent to the electoral bill, INEC is still prepared to go on with the election. How do you think that is possible?
Well, it is important we understand the reason behind this bill that has been enacted by the National Assembly. It was a product of criticism by Nigerians after the 2015 general election, where Nigerians were complaining that election threw up a lot of misnomer, and that to correct it is that there are some certain things that need to be amended by law. And don't forget, like for us here, we are in the tribunal. INEC will say we use card reader, and only those that have been accredited by card reader. Does the court recognize them? That's the point, because as far as we are concerned, it's not part of the Electoral Act. So it becomes a major concern. And Nigerians are yearning that, look, this thing needs to be corrected so that the normal complaint of Nigerians will be reduced. And it's a way of assuring the commoner that, look, 2019 election will be transparent, free, and fair. But the problem I have is that INEC always appear gentle. They look real. At the end of the process, do they? Over time, they are proving that they lack the capacity to conduct this election. And I can tell you, and there are several instances to say, but for the assent that has been withheld by the President of Federal Republic of Nigeria, is a deliberate act, because you know the message is very clear. If he assent is, if he gives his assent to that bill and it becomes a law, he knows he's on his way home. Because Nigerians, for election in 2019, I've told people severally that the election in 2019 is a referendum.
He's on his way home how?
I want to tell you, you know, if you go to Rumokoro and meet those beggars there, and they beg you money, tell them, let me go and come. They will tell you, hunger does not hear. Let me go to the next bus stop and come back. It means that the election for 2019 is between hunger and putting food in the table. And everybody that is a politician knows the implication of that bill. But for once, we must get things right. For instance, the side of the INEC, why I have said INEC has not convinced us that the election will be free, fair to the end. Because over time, election is a process. Election is not just about the ballot. There are processes. INEC will be right from beginning. How about at the point of declaration and collation? What happens? You saw the magic display in Oyo State and Ekiti State. So the problem is not the INEC himself from the initial stage. It is the end point. So like my brother, I listened to Mike Igini, one of the resident electoral officer, I think in Akwa Ibom or thereabout, where he was also talking about this incident form will not be used. Now the one will be used is an incident register. You know, incident form you give to people. And if you give to politicians, they can go and pile it up. But if there is an open register and INEC agrees, that's why, you see, for us as an opposition political party, we see 2019 election between INEC savaging this nation, because there is no one market, there is no one school that the children of INEC workers go to other than the general market. There is no school they go to other than the general school. It means that whatever thing we are suffering as Nigerians, the INEC man, INEC is just a commission. It's individual that make up that commission. It means that they are suffering the same pace as we are suffering. If that is correct, they need to owe us a duty of making sure they convince Nigerians beyond reasonable doubt that the end point, the way they will start from the beginning, that they will end it that way. Instead of halfway, we begin to see, we'll see a situation of phone calls that are yet to be explained. And when you go to the court and see what happens, my brother, sometimes you'll be marveled. That INEC man, for instance, INEC lawyer, who saw a process that was declared a political party that won an election, at the end of the day, maybe was hijacked by the military, by the security apparatus and all of that, they will still come to confirm the fake result, that it is an authentic result. We saw it played out in Rivers State, where INEC authenticated our result in the Ikwere local government and some part of Rivers State. And in those results, PDP won. But an INEC lawyer was defending their own INEC certified true copy. That's what I'm telling you. And we raised the alarm that, look, these people are printing result, and we saw it, number 12 Isoko Street. We saw what happened. Yet INEC came to certify the other people's result. You begin to wonder where we are going. So I only appeal to INEC people. Even when the president has refused to assent to that bill, if INEC implement the law they already have to the latter, we can get it right. What is right? Let the ballot speak. Whomever that wins in the ballot should be declared. I think that's where the problem is. Right. If Mr. A is giving fair hearing, Mr. B is giving fair hearing, at the end of the day, 2 vote to this, 5 vote to this, 5 has won. And that is where we go. The problem we have is that INEC will make us believe to a particular level. At the collation point, when the ruling party will use all the security apparatus they have to bracket every other person and chase people, opposition away, and they will remain with INEC. And INEC sometimes will begin to concoct results. So they need to assure us over time that, look, 2019 general election will be free from the beginning, free at the end of the day.
Mr. G, let me turn to Mr. ENABOR. You heard what Mr. ORJI said.
I've heard him.
Do you have any defense?
Well, not defense as such. I'm sure. I'm
Because
very glad he said the process is okay.
Yeah.
Up to the
rather,
end.
let me put it this way: the National Assembly haven't not been able to make the president sign the Electoral Act into law.
Yes.
Does INEC have an alternative to it?
Well,
to make elections free and fair?
There's no alternative. Don't forget, all these amendments to the Electoral Act, they were not proposed by the National Assembly. They were proposed by INEC. So we also wanted the process to go smoothly to the very end and to be seen as free, fair, and credible. So that at the end, whoever wins the election will know that he actually won, and who lost will know that he or she actually lost the election. So now that there's no revised act now, we will still work with what we have. But I know...
what do you have, the old order?
The old one that we used. We will still work with it. It's not as if it's so bad that we will throw away. Exclusive of the incident form. Because there was a lot of misuse of the incident form in the last elections.
Now,
so because of that, we have...
If a voter is disenfranchised or the smart card does not recognize a particular voter, it is not it is not because that the voter is not supposed to vote.
No.
But because the card reader is not able to read.
No. It's as long as...
So whose fault is it?
As long as if, for example, you come with your PVC and you get to the polling station, first of all, you have to authenticate the card. The first thing, is it an INEC card or is it printed somewhere else? Once you have passed that stage, it now brings out your biometrics, and that's where you are talking about reading the thumbprints and fingerprints. If at that stage you are not, it's not able to read, the register itself is there, which will now be used to verify your face. Once the register can verify your face, then it means you are the owner of the card and you will be allowed to vote.
Now, Mr. ENABOR, one of the features of this Electoral Act is the e-voting thing.
Yes,
now,
e-voting.
Is it feasible? How feasible is it?
No. Right now, the e-voting is not feasible because it's something proposed. It's proposed. We are yet.
Transmission of results.
That is on now. We've used it both in Ekiti and Osun, and you know, when you are doing something,
they were effective.
Yes, they are very effective. You know, as you progress in doing something, you become better at it. So definitely, by the time of the election, we'll be very proficient in that. A lot of training is going on right now for officers who will man those collation.
Now, before I go to Mr. ORJI, do you have any regrets that the president refused assent to the electoral bill? You're an INEC official. Do you have any regrets?
That's a very big word. Do
you have any regret that the president refused assent to the electoral bill?
We would have wanted the bill.
You prepared the bill.
We would have wanted the bill to be assented to because of the intent of the bill. The intent of the bill was to get a better electoral process, which will be acceptable to everybody. But now that it's not assented to, there's nothing that we can do. The issue of regret doesn't come in because the president has the right to assent or vet or refuse, while the National Assembly also has the power to override the president's refusal. So if the National Assembly can do the needful, of course we'll be very happy that what we proposed has come to pass.
Okay, Mr. ORJI, the PRO of PDP, you heard.
Yes, I heard.
Do you think that e-voting is feasible in our country?
Well, yes, it's visible in our country.
One of the features of the Electoral Act.
Yeah, it's visible in our country. You see, Nigerians have very good laws. The problem is implementation of the laws. We have even the old order of the INEC electoral guideline, if implemented to the fullest, you will understand that, look, we can still make best out of it.
Good use of
After all, the application they used in Osun and Ekiti was the old order. And I can tell you, if not what turned out, at the end of the day, I can confirm to you that the process was a very transparent and commendable one. The reason being that, first, it reduced high level of violence in that election. We didn't record so much. But the problem I have as a political party is that I will continue to say, and I tell my brother here who is from the INEC angle, who is also suffering as a Nigeria, no matter the money you have, there are a lot of people that are dependent on you, so it must affect whatever thing you have. Now, but the point I want to make to them is that, like now he's talking about the e-collation, the transmission of collected result. Does it represent
to the database center?
To the database center, does it represent the final overall outcome of the result? Take for instance in Osun State, you saw when an agent of, I don't want to sound political, but you saw an agent of a political party that raised the alarm that what has been collected and transmitted to INEC, that there are less than 1,000 votes. The returning officer took note, but he refused to implement. Even when they did their calculation over time, and the result. And again, if you follow up the Osun State result, the collected result that transmitted to their e-collation center, nothing changed other than the declaration that was made. I don't know if you understand. Yes. So it becomes, whose problem is that? It's also the president of the president to declare the result. A man can tell you to do what is wrong. He say you not do what is wrong. What will he lose? What will an INEC chairman, INEC member, INEC EO lose if anybody at all wins election? You know the fear of people. I used to tell people, even the security agents, what will an IG lose? What will the JTF commander lose? What will the general in the army lose if anybody wins election? The problem is because they have decided to do what is wrong. So they are afraid if the other man wins, my job will be on the line. Otherwise, if INEC say, look, 2019 general election, Nigeria, don't worry, we'll get it right. No matter who is involved, whomever that wins that election will declare. Nobody will much-hunt any INEC officer. Nobody will much-hunt any person. Because even you that has failed, you know you failed. You're only making up stories. So for me, I am worried, but thank God for the opportunity we have. The Constitution also made a provision where the National Assembly can override or veto whatever decision the president have taken. So it's a call on them to rise to the occasion and save Nigeria this minute. For President Muhammad Buhari, it may not be difficult, but you know, like H.O.D Buhari has said, that there are cabal that is holding Nigeria hostage. The wife of the president, is not my statement. There are people that are holding Nigeria hostage, but Nigeria is beyond those people. Because whether they like it or not, in 2019, Nigerians will rise to defend their ballot. INEC must also assure us that elections will be declared at the polling unit, pasted at the polling unit, declared at the collation center, the World Collation Center, and it will not change. Because the future and the unity of Nigeria will lie in the hand of INEC and security agencies in this country. Because no one politician can go to INEC to go and carry ballot box if it's not aided by the security agent, and if it's not also accepted, if the result is not accepted. You saw what happened in Bayelsa State during the Saraki Dixon about the Southern Niger. You saw where one local government result would have upturned election that was a dry voting. Everybody saw. You were seeing 1,000, 2,000. We saw where they wrote almost 50,000 results from a particular local government to override, if not for INEC, who also stood firm. The point I'm trying to make here is that INEC can decide to stand firm. We know they will be threatened. We know they will be humiliated. But it costs you nothing to do what is right and save Nigeria, the unity we are going to enjoy next year.
Mr. Darlington, ORJI, we'll take a short break and then we'll come back to the live studio to converse more. Please stay with us.
Stewardship with SNB. Stewardship with SNB. The careful and responsible management of something entrusted to one's care is called stewardship. Watch Stewardship with SNB on RSTV. Stewardship with SNB.
Well, if you have just joined us, you're on to the program Stewardship, showing live from the studios of Riverside Television, Channel 22, Port Harcourt. My guests have been the spokesman of the Rivers PDP, Mr. Darlington ORJI. Mr. Darlington ORJI, welcome back again to the studio.
Thank you very much.
And then the man in charge of voter education, who is also representing the REC here in River State, REC of INEC, of course, here in River State, Mr. EDWIN ENABOR. EDWIN ENABOR, welcome again.
Thank you very much.
Now, let me turn to you first. What are 0 units? There are reports that some polling units have been designated as 0 units in River State. And some persons are thinking that the opposition and INEC are using that 0 unit to rig out the ruling party in the state. What are 0 units in River State?
Actually, after the last registration exercise, not this one we've just done, for the last election, in the process of producing those cards, then some units...
You mean voters' cards?
Yeah, the voters' cards, PVCs. Some units were inadvertently excluded. So not only in River State, we have 0 units all over the country. Maybe in the process of trying to key in all those information into the data, some of them were lost. So they all came out as empty and no units there. So that's why we had opportunity now at this last registration exercise for all those persons in those particular areas. If you know you couldn't vote the last time because your unit was declared a 0 unit, we had at least over a year, from April last year to August this year, for you to make use of the opportunity, the window that is given for you to register. 0 unit is, you have to give it a name. And the name was just given because those units came out. But the figures and the names and the data didn't come out.
Were created by INEC?
They were not created by INEC. Those units are units, normal units.
The 0 units are in the record of INEC?
They are in the record of INEC as units.
As units?
Yes, as
already
units.
Existing units?
Already existing units.
Okay.
Just that their names, in the process of compiling them, their names didn't come out.
Okay.
So that maybe it could be an error from the data operator, or it could be from when they were printing, those things didn't come out. And it spread all over the country.
Okay.
So definitely you go now, where your name is supposed to show, it's blank. That's how they said, oh, sorry, because of the complaints and the time frame, there was no time to go through. We were just experimenting, we are just starting this new process then. So in that process, it was too late for people to start changing and bringing those data out. But now I'm assuring that the CVR exercise that we had was a window for all those units to be corrected. Okay. So all those places that we had 0 units, the people had that opportunity to go there now and register. Because if you say you registered in 2015 and your name didn't come out, definitely assume that you didn't register. So you are registering afresh. So people did, and we don't think we're going to have 0 units anymore.
Okay, well, before I come to Darlington ORJI, let's allow our viewers to participate. You can call the number 080-3341-3360, again 080-3341-3360, or send text messages only to the number 080-534-78400, 080-534-78400. Join our social platforms, media platforms of YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Stewardship with SNB. You can also watch us live on GoTV channel 103 and StarTime channel 113. Mr. ORJI, 0 units. Are you aware of it before now?
Yes, there is no grammar we have not heard in this country. Every day.
You heard the INEC
Yes, I hold him to high esteem. I respect him. I've seen his opinion. That's why I said INEC sound very genuine, but the end point is always a problem. It's not because they don't suffer the same thing we suffer. For us, for a particular unit, for instance, where we have over 500 persons or even more to appear blank, it's not the fault of the voter. It's not the fault of the person, because you have done what is right. What is right is to go to that particular unit, let your data be captured, the rest is for INEC to do. So if there is an inconsistency in the data collection or whatever thing that happened in INEC, and such group of persons, their names are missing in the system, INEC need to do something, either to refresh it, or they must bring out a palliative measure of which they will use in casting their vote, because those people cannot be defranchised as long as election process is concerned. So I think INEC will do their best in making sure that the people from that particular unit come out to vote, because those are part of the things that can actually throw up problems on the day of election. If a man, for instance, I go to my unit 007 to cast my vote and have my PVC card, and I get there, I cannot cast my vote, and I have somebody I'm supporting, I will believe that my vote can make him win the election, and it can, throw up issues. So INEC should do their best in making sure they manage all those issues to make sure that in 2019, Nigerians can go to the polling unit, cast their vote, drink with their brothers, celebrate with their brothers, and move on.
Yes, thank you very much. Just as you said, I said, those units are not deliberate concussions of INEC. You know, these things we are saying, registration and computer and all, is human beings that put them. You could be tired, you could be negligent, be careless, and it happens. It's just like having your PVC being produced now, and instead of sending it to River State, it goes to another state, maybe during the process of packaging it into the various states. So those are errors. They are human errors. That is why, for a want of a better name, that's why that name 0 unit came up. So you now said, oh, those units are existing units. It's not that they are not fake units. They are existing units, and for one reason or the other, their names are not, their data didn't come up. But the CVR exercise gave them the opportunity, because we had a platform for you to check your name. If you registered, you check in that platform. If your name is not in the register, then the advice then was immediately go back and register afresh, because there's nothing like you go to, you register in 2011, you register in 2014, and then you now check the platform, your name is not there. And you now start making a lot of noise. You said such people go back and register, do a fresh registration. And you know how serious we took the CVR all over the country. So we are assured, I would like to assure you that 0 units, they won't have 0 units again.
Mr. ENABOR, recently INEC published a data of PVC, comprehensive data of PVC. And then there were these uncollected PVCs. What effort is INEC doing to ensure that people pick up their PVCs?
Yeah, thank you very much. It's part of why we are here, voter education. We've been doing a lot of sensitization, going around the local government areas, and being on radio everywhere, advising people, calling on people to come and collect these PVC cards. To the extent, initially the PVC cards were to be collected at the local government INEC office. But when we saw the response as not too encouraging, the commission had to direct the electoral officers, look, take this thing closer to the people. It's a very delicate thing, because, for example, the electoral officer might decide on his own to want to carry the cards, and maybe he's accosted on the road with about 1,000 cards. Then the issue of he's trying to do something funny comes up. He's arrested, he's molested, or whatever. Then inquiry is set up. So we now have to make it official that, look, our electoral officers are going to bring these cards to you. And you, the electoral officer, before you move into any registration area in your local government area, you must meet with the stakeholders there. There's no area that doesn't have stakeholders. You have to meet with them, tell them you are bringing their PVCs to their area, and you tell them the date and the duration that the officers will be there. And with that, I'm sure they must have approached him too as a stakeholder. So with that, we have achieved more in collection.
Okay.
The only problem we are having is with the old ones that have been lying fallow. They are still there, so there's something that seems to be something fundamentally wrong, because while the ones that we did during the CVR are being taken, snapped up, but the ones that we did before.
One expects that you'll be on radio and TV.
We are on radio, we are on radio, we are on TV, we are on social media, advising and calling on people to come and pick up their cards.
Mr. ENABOR, this question is to both of you, but I want you to first answer it before I turn to Mr. ORJI. Now, oftentimes during elections, security interference has been a bane in our electoral process. Take, for instance, the 2015 rerun elections in River State. The court, the tribunal, admitted a report from the security operatives and then passed their judgment. They rejected INEC's report to make up their judgment. Whose report is more important? Is it INEC or
by
security?
law?
Is it security that is conducting election,
by
or INEC is conducting election?
By law. By law. When there's a discrepancy or there is an argument about a result that INEC presents, it's usually corroborated by the copy given to the police.
No, when there's an outright rejection of INEC report, which is the compare during elections, is it the security report that is admissible?
Allow me to answer you. I said normally, if there's an argument on what report to be taken,
INEC report can be thrown away.
Allow me to.
Go on.
You want me to answer?
Go on, Mr. ENABOR.
So okay. The police report is what is usually used to corroborate. Corroborate means they must be they must be the same, not comparison. Okay. He's bringing a result now, and I'm INEC, and there's an argument about the result. So you are the police. The police will say, okay, the only person whose own we agree with is the police, and it has to be the same result with what INEC is giving out. They didn't say it has to be different, not a different result. It is a corroboration of what INEC has given, because the Electoral Act says after the election, you give a copy of the results to the party agents and to the police. Only the police, you give them a copy. So if there's any argument between the parties and INEC, they say, okay, the police has a copy of that result, bring it. But in a case whereby the INEC report is different from the police report,
so in
the case of where INEC report is different from the police report, it's an anomaly. So it's an anomaly. That is, thank God you said, is the judiciary. They know why. They accepted it.
Okay, let me turn to Mr. ORJI. You heard Mr. ENABOR.
Yes, I listened to him carefully.
Do you agree with him?
I don't agree with him in this one. Reasons are very simple. You know, this is one state
where security report
this is one. River State is one state we have seen a lot of things as regards to election. It is in River State I heard for the first time in my life what is called rerun. It is in this state that we saw it. And I was also in the tribunal. I was a serious participant in that election. Okay. And let me cite an instance for you. The case between Tonsin Sekebo and Andrew Wichendo. I'm aware that the law is very straight, it's not ambiguous. On when you are filing your application in the court, you join certified true copy of INEC result.
Yes.
You will pay for it, and a receipt will be given to you. I collated on behalf of our party. and it was tendered. In that result, police tendered a different result. Of course, we raised the alarm earlier that there is a printing that is on in River State and people were arrested in the crime, at the scene of the crime, but nothing happened up to date. And in that election, the court held that police result supersede the INEC result. In the same court, in the same day.
That is
the election between Chidi Nwyoka.
But Mr. No, is saying that the two reports were corroborated.
No, excuse me, sir, so that you will understand. I've told you here that INEC appears very free with the process, but at the end of the day, what happens is what I don't know. Like I gave you the instance between Andrew Wichendo and Tonse Segebo, where the court held that police report supersede that of INEC because they relied. That's why I said they supersede. They relied on that report. In the same court, in the case between B.S. Emerengwa and Andrew Wichendo, they relied on the INEC report.
There should be a problem. There should be a correction here. There should be a correction here.
So that we can have a uniform
correction here. You see, the correction is, I said, the two reports
must collaborate.
Must be the same.
Yes.
So, in the case of what you are mentioning now,
I said there are two different reports.
That's what I'm saying. The two reports are different.
That's what I'm saying.
For the judiciary to accept the police report against the INEC report, I'm sure you are also aware that INEC also raised an alarm about it. That is not what
the position
that's not what the position of the law is. When they say police is to corroborate, police is just taken as the last person as a party agent is taken. But it is assumed that Mr. ORJI, who is a party agent, might have reason to tamper with his own copy of the results. But the police, who is expected to be neutral, will not do so. So that's why the law says we rely on the police report.
I think there is a fundamental issue raised here. That is about the interference of the security agents. Yes. In 2015 general election, in fact in 2016, they run election. INEC, which is a parastatal of government, wrote a report indicting Akim Fakrode to be very specific, in specific terms, that he molested INEC officials. The video we are there to show. And the security, the River State governor and the government of River State raised the alarm that this man is sabotaging the effort and the security architecture of River State. Up until now, nothing happened. So for us, that's what I'm telling you, 2019 election, that INEC need to do their own part. Their own part is standing on the truth till the end point. We are not unaware that there will be pressure from left, right, center. We are aware of those strategies. But INEC can stand firm. And for us as Rivers people, as Nigerians, we need to take the bull by the horn by standing to defend our vote and that our vote must count. But, you know, people deceive themselves. Even the security agent that is playing, for instance, those that did all the manipulation they did for this government to come on board at the national level, are they not regretting? Are they not crying? Some of them will come behind to beg you, and in the front, they pretend all is well. So Nigerians need to together salvage a process. Let me tell you, any day the INEC become truly autonomous and unbiased in the process, any day the security agencies all become unbiased, we will begin to get it right. You will see that real candidates, real people that will carry out developmental projects in the land will begin to emerge. But what happens now? It's not like the fight against corruption. We have said repeatedly that the moral corruption is worse than the corruption of those who steal money. Because when you see a thing is wrong and you are doing it, it's worse than the other man that have gone to steal money. So for us, we have seen a situation where you are corrupt, embedded. Once you defect to a particular political party, your sins are forgiven. All things have passed away. So my appeal to Nigerian people is that Mr. President needs to assure Nigerians, if actually it's Mr. Integrity that he has claimed that Nigeria saw him to be, by assenting to that law for the fourth time, all the things he has spotted has been corrected. He has been running away from it.
Mr. ORJI, let's give opportunity to our viewers to participate. They've been calling. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Please, could you tell us where you're calling from and then your name?
Sir, Victor from FedEx.
Who?
Victor from FedEx.
Okay, Victor, calling from where?
From FedEx.
Did we hear him? Well, we lost that call. All right. We will take a short break and then we'll come back to the live studio again. Please stay with us. Don't go away.
Stewardship with SNB. The careful and responsible management of something entrusted to one's care is called stewardship. Watch Stewardship with SNB on RSTV. Stewardship with SNB.
Yeah, you're welcome back to the studio. You can call the number 080-3341-3360. Again, 080-3341-3360. And send text messages only to the number 080-5347-8400. Let me turn to Mr. ENABOR, the INEC rep. Ballot boxes have been a friend to hoodlums and miscreants during elections.
Yes.
What efforts has INEC put on ground to forestall this ugly trend?
Once again, from the last election that we had recently here in Falga.
Before you continue with that thought, please let's join this caller. Hello, good afternoon. Oh, we lost your call. Please, you may continue.
Yes, from the last election we had in Falga here in River State, you will see that the issue of snatching of ballot boxes has greatly minimized. Because right now, the people have seen that with all the processes involved now, there is no point stealing or snatching ballot boxes. Because results are declared now at the polling units and pasted. So what is the point of snatching a ballot box? So you see, and
you'll continue that thought. Let's join this caller. Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, my name is MC Patowski.
Your name is what?
My name is MC Patowski.
MC Patowski, calling from where?
Calling from Otakwajia, in GRA.
MC Patowski, please go on.
I've listened to what you guys have said. I listened to the young man, the INEC young man. the INEC law that is in the bill, the president has to sign it. That is my take. If he wants Nigeria to be voting for the second time, because everything that has to do with all the anomalies that young man for the PDP that has been corrected, he has to sign that bill. He has to sign it. Because we voted him in, and we can also vote him out. Thank you.
Thank you so much. What did he call himself? MC Patowski also. Thank you, MC Patowski. Yes, talking about the president's refusal to sign the INEC law, electoral law rather. Let's listen to a video and then we can debate on it. Studio, please assist us.
You can see I am a Democrat, ab initio. I was never converted. I have always been a Democrat. And I fought the military to return this country to democracy. However, the best way to guarantee peace in any election or any human interaction is to ensure manifest justice to all concerned. I'm delighted that Mr. President has agreed to sign this peace accord. But we want to appeal to him to also sign the Electoral Act Amendment Bill. Mr. President needs to understand that as long as he refuses to sign the bill, we will have doubts that this government is truly committed to free, fair, and credible elections.
Yeah, gentlemen, we watched the PDP presidential candidate of in 2019 elections, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, during the signing of the Peace Pact. The president had earlier signed. He also went and signed. In his speech, He thanked Mr. President for signing the Peace Pact and appealed to him that having signed the Peace Pact, he should also sign the Electoral Amendment Bill. INEC man.
Yes, that's...
I asked you if you have any regrets that the President refused assent to it. He did not come out very clear. Nigerians all over the country are against the President's refusal to sign the Electoral Act. INEC, you are not very clear.
The bill was sponsored by INEC.
Yes. I asked you
it was sponsored by
any
INEC.
Regrets.
That's how I said, the word regret, it's something that, you don't forget, INEC is an executive body.
Yes.
So if the President, who is the head of the executive, has refused to sign, the owners formulated that bill, yes,
I'm
and sent
asking
it.
you as an INEC man, do you have any regrets that the President did not assent to it?
We would have preferred the bill signed.
Mr. ORJI, could you respond to Alhaji Atiku's speech?
I want to thank him. Of course, Nigerians have known those that are democratic in nature and those that are not. I want to also join him on behalf of our political party and the ordinary Nigerians to appeal to Mr. President to prove to Nigerians once again that he can keep to his word by assenting to that bill. Because the right thing is that government is supposed to be afraid of the people and not for the people to be afraid of government. So he was elected by the people of Nigeria, and Nigerians are saying that that bill should be assented to. And he has no option other than to assent to that bill. That is a way of guaranteeing and assuring Nigerians that the election will be free, fair, and credible. Remember, in his words in the past, there are no threatening word that was not used in 2014 election. But Goodluck went ahead to make sure that the election was conducted freely and fairly, and even congratulated in advance. He will not be the first. Even if he loses this election, he will not be the first to have lost on seat. So it will cost him nothing to assent. Rather, it will appraise him more, and it will be to his own advantage. Nigerians will celebrate it that he has assented.
Let's hear from the last lucky caller. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. You may say your name and where you're calling from, please.
I am Mr. Savior, calling from Elelewo.
Mr. Savior, calling from Elelewo. Go on, please.
Yes. I want to support the president and thank him for not signing that bill into law. If you look at the time frame,
why do you think so?
Now, why I say so is because of the timing. The timing within now and the date of the time of election is very close. And if he signs that now,
Mr. Savior, you are just one voice. You are just one voice.
Listen to me. For the electoral body now to come and observe all the procedures to election, to bring confusion between the electoral body. And so, if he is not signed, he wants to sign such a bill now. It should be after election. The bill should be presented and he should sign it.
No, Mr. Savior, have you forgotten? Listen. The bill gives room for people not to have opportunity to rig elections. And he said you're happy that the president withdrew assent to it, Mr. Savior?
Yes, everybody will not have the same perception. Look at the timing. The timing is not favorable.
Well, Mr. Savior, thank you so much for calling in. Thank you so much. Yes. One sentence from you and one sentence from him to respond to Mr. Savior's. Yes.
Well, the truth of the matter is that he should have known that part of what is contained in that bill is to legalize the use of card reader.
Yes.
So it can be cited at the tribunal.
Yes.
And it's going to reduce violence in that election, because you will understand that there will be no point hijacking any material because all results have been transmitted, and as such, INEC will have the independence nature of declaring such results. So I appeal to such a young man to think twice.
Yes.
In our own sentence, he should know that INEC formulated that bill. And in formulating the bill, we know what is inside. And we are prepared to work with what is inside. So for him to say, oh, it's too late, and for INEC to know what is inside to operate, that it will disturb the process, I don't agree with him.
Let's now hear from the governor of River State. Studio, please assist us. Let's hear from the governor of River State on this INEC issue. Studio, please assist us.
Preaching for free and fair election, violent free election, and I try to let them know that we stand for free and fair election, we stand for violent free election, but our fears just that we don't have confidence that this government, through INEC, would want to conduct a free and fair election. We know that the security, they are not impartial, they are partial. And even the refusal of Mr. President to assent to the amendment of the Electoral Act gives us the impression that they are not prepared to have a free and fair election. And not having a free and fair election, of course, portends doom, danger for this country. And we believe that Mr. President could rescind that decision and assent to the amendment of the Electoral Act so that Nigerians will have confidence that INEC and the government really want to carry out.
Gentlemen, we heard from the Governor of Rivers State, Barrister H.O.D. Time is not on our side, but to the spokesman of PDP in Rivers State, do you agree with Mr. Governor?
His position is position of Nigerians, that the president has proven that he's not ready for free and fair election. Otherwise, he needs to assent to that bill. That bill will save a lot of lives. That bill is going to make those that are already preparing for violence to see that there will be no need for it.
Mr. ENABOR.
Yes, the bill was intended to make sure that the electoral process is seen to be free, fair, and credible. And we would have loved it to have been assented to.
Well, that is the size of our package this week on the program Stewardship. I want to thank you, Mr. Darlington ORJI, the spokesman of Rivers PDP, for making it to the studio today. Thank you so much, Mr. ORJI.
Thank you very much.
And then to the INEC rep, I want to thank you again, Mr. EDWIN ENABOR, for making the program a success.
Thank you very much.
And
thank you very much.
That's a friendship between the two opposing forces.
We are
The
not
umpire and, of course, the party man. Yeah, thank you so much. That's a friendship for you. Well, it is on that note, we want to call it a day on the program today. I want to thank my colleagues who have been pressing the right buttons behind the camera, and of course to my callers who also make their contributions. My name is Solomon Nassimbre, thanking you to say join us again, same time, same station. We'll meet again on this program, Stewardship. Bye-bye.
Stewardship with SNB.